we've been doing Princess Watch on our Monomorium Minimum colony because I spotted some royal larvae a few weeks ago, and I'm screwing with the focus again. I only have the one microscope camera, and it gets a little hard to reposition it to get different sorts of shots and everything. But you can see the huge wall of larvae on the left side. And there's the royal larva. We don't know what's in those yet. We don't know if they're male or female. These are developing pretty slowly, and they're not as big as the others, so I'm kind of hoping that they're male larvae, because well, you'll see. But it's really neat to just watch the little guys tend to them. I have a few recordings where I just wound up forgetting that I was recording, and I let everything run for hours and hours and hours. And it's just sometimes fun to just watch the little ants do things. I get them mostly for our moments of zen. They're kind of my therapeutic pet. When everything gets too intense, I'll just sit and watch the little ants go back and forth and take care of their soon-to-be siblings. There's just something so nice about watching them. Monomins are so shiny. It is so impressive. And this was I was trialing Biformica's little feeders, and you can see this is a hit for the monomins. They've got a few little dead ants wandering around. That's one of the graveyard attendants with them. But it doesn't seem to be outpacing their rate of growth. And the colony is so big at this point that we're going to have little waves of death going through everything for quite a while. I just clean it up with a paintbrush. They picked the most inaccessible corner of their outworld for the graveyard, which is a little nice and a little sad. It's like they're protecting their dead siblings. Since all of these ants have basically come from either one queen or related queens, they're all basically going to be siblings. I'm pretty sure we've gone from having a 5-queen colony with these guys to having a 2-queen colony. 3 queens max. That's the most that I've seen all at the same time. And monomins do tend to practice queen culling, where if one of their multiple queens is not performing well, they will kill her, possibly eat her, and drag her body out to the graveyard, because supporting a queen takes a lot of effort and energy from these little guys. And if a queen is not producing fertile eggs or not producing as many as the colony needs, a lot of times it just seems to be more efficient for them to kill the problematic queen. I'm also trialing the feeder on the tetramorium colony, the probably bicarinatum girls. But as you can see, she is just like, what is this thing? Why is this here? Do I want any of this? I don't think so. They definitely know it's there. I have yet to see them recognize it as a sugar source. I've removed their old sugar source because it was fermenting. It had been there for a while. And I was hoping that they would recognize this as food, but you can see she's just like, I'm going to hang out here. I might have shown this shot before, I don't remember. There are their graces with their wonderful egg pile. They had a little bit of drama this week. A gnat got into their setup through one of the tubes. It's summer. We have a big problem with gnats. We have them here. We have them at work. We've got all the fly papers and everything up, but we can't get into the drains to clean it up. So, and there it is. There she is. That's our first princess ever. I'd like to call the Virgin Queens princess as long as they've got their wings. When a queen ant mates for the first time, they usually do it in flight, and when they land for the last time, they snap off their wings and they will use their back muscles to sustain their fledgling colony. Monomins do seem to reproduce more frequently by budding, where the queens come, stay in the colony, and then when you have, and there's another one, I followed her around for hours. I was so excited to see her. But anyway, when they decide to split off into new colonies, usually the same time they start culling the queens that aren't so productive. You'll start seeing queens run off with a little collection of the rest of the colony, like 10, 20 other workers, and they'll go off and form their own colony, which will be somewhat cooperative. But ants are, it's nature. So some of them really want to live and they will run off and form their own colony, and some of them don't. Now this part is a little bit sad because I was watching this larva. Hi, Princess. Yes, Princess decided to come for a visit. Princess Kitty. But I was kind of excited for it because it's so nice and big. And I'd been watching them tend to it. Oh, there's our one of our current egg-laying queens. You could see her without her wings. I don't see our fertile queens as often as I see all the other girls, for obvious reasons. They tend to stash them in places that I can't get the camera to. I think mostly in the entrance and exit points for these little formicariums, because there's 4 of them. There's one on each side of the triangle, and then there's a larger one at the outer edge. Now this was cool. I was just wandering around looking at all the larvae, and I spotted this one, and it's getting ready to pupate. The last thing that a larva does before they pupate is poop. So this is an ant larva pooping. The poop is called meconium. That's the word for any baby's first poop. In humans, and most mammals, that's like leftover cells that have been sitting in the intestines forever, amniotic fluid stuff. It's this black tarry yuck. But in ants, it's this neat little pellet, and that is all the food that it ate while it was a larva. And it's just this weird, kind of ugly little black thing. And they're going to pull it out, and I don't know what they do with it afterwards. I think they're supposed to take it to, either outside or to one of their toilet areas and put that there. But it was just really neat that I caught this on camera. It was unexpected. And they are having a really great time. And here is another princess. I don't even think it's the same princess, because at this point they are wandering around So, um, here's another one of the princesses. Oh, it made me so happy. And they are just so beautiful. You can tell that this is another one that's recently eclosed because of how she's still got hints of brown. Um, these this species, you don't really get to see what they call the callow ants very often. The callow ants are just ants that have recently eclosed from the pupal stage, and they're lighter than everyone else. But lighter is a relative term, and our monomins darken up really, really quickly. So it's really hard to tell what basically, what they, if they're young or if they're old, unless you see them right when they eclose. And you can see, like here's another princess, you can see how she's got a little bit more brown. She's not as shiny as the other ants. But you remembered that one larva that I showed you a bit earlier in the video? Well, it didn't make it. So here we see nature taking its usual course. These ants are eating, basically this is cannibalism. They are eating their own royal larva because for whatever reason, either it died or it was not developing properly, and now they're almost finished with it. So it's not going to go to waste. It's going to nourish all the rest of the colony larva. Might even go to nourish another princess or a royal prince. But, that's nature. And we really want to have our pets always succeed, but that's not always going to happen. And it can be very sad. Fortunately, we do have at least 2 laying queens, if not 3, still in this colony. And we have, at this point, about 5 princesses. I have not seen any males yet. I'm hoping some of the smaller big larvae are going to turn into the boys, and we'll be able to rent some banjo music, so to speak, and we will have our nuptial flight. I still have to put a lid on their outworld. I haven't done that yet because we've our work's restarted. It's semi-seasonal, and sometimes it gets to be a little hard to keep up with work and all the other creative stuff that I tend to do. But we have that now, and today is my last day before a weekend. What my version of a weekend is. It's not everyone else's version of a weekend because I work in a kitchen. But I think this weekend I'm going to make a lid for the monomins and probably redo the tetramoriums outworld and rearrange their tube system a little bit so that they're just a little bit closer, because I think they're still a little too small for the setup I've had them in. And there you go. There is our ant date for the week. The only exciting thing I have not mentioned is the potential. I have a potential new colony coming. I ordered some carpenter ants, Campanatus. I don't remember the species name, but it's a Campo species, and we're gonna bring them into the collection at this point, and hopefully they will work like gangbusters. I ordered 2 queens just in case something happens to one of them. so that I will not be too disappointed. And there you go. I will see you guys next week. There'll be an ARC video on Thursday. And Ari and Kiddo says hi.
Hello.
She says hi.
Hello.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.